there was something that I always found confusing about beef. Now, growing up, we always buy our beef from our local stores and so on. But it seemed like that beef, unless it's cooked well, you have to be doing karate with it because it's so tough. You know, you can't really enjoy it. But when I went to Spain, I had some beef there. That beef was delicious. In fact, I've never tasted beef that tasted like the beef that I bought in Spain. So pretty much all the restaurants I went to, the beef was amazing. So I thought to myself, we have the right climate in Zimbabwe. We have pretty much everything we need. Why is it the beef there is not good? And now just to put this into perspective, from the little research that I did in Zimbabwe, it seems like we have pretty much two types of beef. First, we have the beef that you normally find in the rural areas. They just go, just eat anything in the grazing lands and all that. Or we have pen-fed. So it seems like the pen-fed is the one that is a bit softer, easier to cook. But from what I hear, now this is not 100%, from what I hear, they feed it with corn to fatten it, to make it grow, to make it have fat and to make it, bulkier. And sometimes they also use hormones. And then I'm thinking, okay, so why is it we can't just get a grass-fed cow that tastes nice from Zimbabwe? Because when I ask further questions, you hear that, okay, the tough meat, the value meat, is the meat that comes from all those cows that you get from the rural areas. So I come to the UK and we started looking into beef, and there's a word that kept on, creeping up. Angus beef, Angus beef, Angus beef. And I'm thinking, what the hell is this Angus beef? So when I'm here in the UK, I normally buy my meat online, and this is the website that I go to. So you can see right away, Angus, right? And I'm thinking, okay, Angus, what the hell is this? So I look at the pricing and I see the pricing is absolutely crazy, per kilo, right? And it wasn't only this website. You come over here, we also have this Aberdeen Angus grass-fed. Look at the pricing. For 2.75 kgs, it's 97 pounds. So I'm thinking to myself, well, something must be different about this beef. So I purchased it, and to my surprise, the meat was soft, the taste was amazing, and it turns out that the differences between the beef that I was probably eating in Spain and what I order when I'm in the UK is the feed, or the grass, the type of grass that these cows eat is very key in this. And also the genetics of this type of breed. So I'm thinking to myself, maybe it's something that's unique to Europe, okay? This Angus beef, Angus cows, whatever it is, they are only available in Europe. Turns out that I did a quick Google search, and look at this. If you take a look here, in fact, let me just switch my monitor. This is also available in South Africa. Okay, so you're probably thinking, why am I talking about beef? Well, this is part of the reason why I did this video, and is to talk about opportunities. Can you imagine, in my years of growing up in Zimbabwe, never tasted beef that tastes like this? And yet, in Zimbabwe, what we call beef is not really that beef which is of high quality. Now, this brings me into why I'm creating this video, and this is about opportunities in Zimbabwe. Time and time again, we focus at politics as if that's going to be the answer to all our problems. Yes, for the most part, I agree, they do play a part. But if you as an individual really invests your time and money into areas where you can make your own money, there are so many opportunities in Zimbabwe. Now, before we go in and say, well, Zimbabwe needs to do this, needs to do that, let's remind ourselves that Zimbabwe is primarily a country that is known for agriculture and mining. Those two things. You cannot run away from those two things. You can start introducing AI and all this. We want to do tech. Okay, those are little percentages in what Zimbabwe is all about. It is farming and mining. Those two main things. So if you really, really want to make money, right, you have to be within those two fields. Okay, I'm not saying you can't make money in anything else. Of course, you can have an Airbnb and make money. But I'm saying if you really want to make a significant amount of money, you need to be focusing on farming or mining. Now, in this case, I prefer to stick to to farming. I prefer farming. So this was just a quick example of Angus beef, right? Imagine you get these cows in Zimbabwe. You're the only one doing this. And correct me if I'm wrong, because I haven't come across this Angus beef even in restaurants in Zimbabwe. So correct me if I'm wrong if it's there. If it's there, I'll be very surprised and I would like to go and visit those places. So let me know in the comments box below. But anyway, you now become a producer of this type of beef. And I'm telling you, if you produce this beef and a few people taste it, they are going to love it. They are going to love it because the taste is phenomenal. But anyway, let me not go on and on about this. So there's opportunities in beef. Did you know that with the farms that we have in Zimbabwe, we can't even meet the demand of beef in the country, to a point that the beef sometimes is exported from South Africa. I'm saying exported. It's imported from South Africa. Can you imagine that? In Zimbabwe, with all that land and all these things, we can't produce our own beef. We can't produce enough chickens. We can't produce enough eggs. We can't produce enough milk. It is crazy. So these are the opportunities, because time and time again, you hear people saying, what can I do in Zimbabwe? These are the sort of things. You can go into even producing manure from your chicken waste. You turn that into manure. You can even, there's so many things that you can do around the agricultural sector and support that agricultural sector. So now that you've established that we have a shortage of chicken, a shortage of milk, a shortage of eggs, even organic vegetables, a lot of the vegetables we eat today, they have fertilizers, because that's the fastest way you can grow these vegetables. But if you start eating organically produced vegetables, it's amazing. Now, in Zimbabwe, I actually grew some vegetables. In fact, I've done a video where I was showing the vegetables that I did, and then someone now decides to call me. Look at this. This is ridiculous. But anyway, it's on silent now. I grew some vegetables in my neighborhood, and to my surprise, people loved them so much, they were coming every single day, lining up, buying the vegetables. And I did this as an experiment, because what I was doing is I was taking all my chicken waste and I was using that as manure. So I had spinach, I had kovo, I had rape, and what else did I have? Yeah, those main items. People were buying this like crazy. So I would sell a bundle for 50 cents. I would make, $10, $15 per day. And this is a small piece of land, 200 square meters. 200 square meters. So imagine this. You scale that up and people know now that you are producing organic vegetables. This on its own can be something you can be generating money with even throughout your retirement. So this is what I'm talking about. Let's talk about eggs. Just producing a lot of eggs. There are so many places that need eggs. When I was speaking to a friend of mine, I was actually shocked, and I really didn't even think about this. Did you know that all these boarding schools, they need eggs, they need milk, they need chicken, they need beef, and the country itself cannot really supply all these areas. Now, we haven't even touched on restaurants yet. Imagine restaurants, and then supplying the supermarkets, or even supplying individuals in your own community. There is a massive. So if you really want to take advantage of what is happening in Zimbabwe at the moment, is to go into these areas, figure out how to do it professionally. And not only that, now we have the internet. Look, with a quick Google search, I could even find that there's actually places where you can go and buy the genetics or even the sperm of the Angus cattle. Imagine that. This is the internet now. So instead of just waiting for things to just take action, we need to be thinking that can make us unique, but also bring value to the country. I know a lot of people say, oh, you need connections for you to sell chickens, or you need connections for you to sell beef. I'm telling you, you don't really need all that. So from my marketing background, you need to market your product. You talk about the benefits, you talk about the features. And if you do that well enough, people will find your content, they'll contact you. And if you produce a very good product, you will have repeat customers. That's what just to give an idea of what I used to do when I was selling my chickens. This was a trial run, by the way, because eventually I want to go into some serious broiler production. So I did a trial run of 100 chickens, every week or so, just selling in my local community. So I was just joking around saying, hey, my chickens, they taste so good that if it doesn't taste good, you come back to me and I'll give you a refund. That is how I was convincing people, because apparently a lot of people were used to buying these chickens which had hormone and had steroids to make them grow fast, of course, to meet the demand. But I chose to take a different route. I decided to grow these chickens with feed only, without these growth hormones and steroids. and the taste was different. And a lot of people noticed that straight away. And I had repeat customers. I actually had a few people in my community that decided not to buy chickens until I had my chickens available. And some of them would buy in bulk. They'll just buy 10, or 15. That's how I was selling my chickens. I used to give them a guarantee that if you buy this chicken and it doesn't taste good, come back and I'll give you back your money. Now, can you imagine how much confidence I had regarding that? That's a lot of confidence. So because initially people were skeptical, like, what's so special about your chickens? We buy these chickens across the road or from that person. So what makes yours different? So my unique selling point was my chickens don't have these growth hormones, they don't have steroids, and we use very, very, very minimal antibiotics because they affect the taste of the what? Of the chicken. Now, if you were to do this on a larger scale, you have really created a niche in the market. Sometimes I would even go as far as saying, hey, if you don't believe me, here's the chicken, go and cook it. If you like it, you come and give me feedback. And I did that, and people love the chicken. So this applies to eggs. Did you know that eggs taste different depending on how the hen's environment and how they're produced? The eggs do taste different. Free-range eggs taste totally different. So these are the sort of areas where it's a no-brainer. You just need to do it properly and pretty much you're in business. So why is it, if everyone knows there's a shortage in Zimbabwe, why is it no one is tapping into this market and trying to go in and fill these gaps? Well, I'll give you a quick answer. For you to be producing chickens that supply even one school, it's impossible without a serious amount of investment. You're going to need quite a bit of money to invest for you to be able to do that. So this leaves now a massive gap. So the chickens you see are people, keeping chickens in the backyard, 100 chickens here, 150 in their backyard. That's not sustainable. Even to grow from that, you're going to need bigger space. You're going to need more investment. So people will be like, hey, you know what? I'm happy selling 150 chickens every 2 weeks or every 6 weeks. And that's the money that's sustaining them. So it leaves a massive gap now for those that want to take this to the next level. And that is where you need now investments. So for guys who are in the diaspora or guys that have money saved up, these are the sort of areas that you can tap into. You can even have, 10 dairy cows. I was speaking to one of these farmers a few weeks ago. They were telling me 10 dairy cows will give you, I can't remember the figure. I think it was close to $150 to $200 per day. 10 dairy cows. Imagine that. But of course, to buy one is going to cost you a couple of thousands. So that's where the situation is. So yes, there are opportunities, but we need to approach this in a very professional way, taking a look at how things are done in the West. Even just looking at this website. Look at how professional this website looks. It looks fantastic. The layout, even when you come to this website, you click on this, you see all the information about the product, you add to cart, you purchase it, and, before you know it, pretty much, you have a UI that is very easy to navigate. And even if you're going to get some orders, that's, someone who's coming to a website like this, they are a quality customer who cares about what they eat and cares about their health. You don't have to supply the whole of Zimbabwe for you to make it in farming. No, sometimes it may be that just supplying one restaurant could be quite a bit of money that requires significant amount of investment for you to make that kind of money. Anyway, let me know what your thoughts are regarding this. But in my opinion, this is a massive opportunity in Zimbabwe right now. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to go ahead to ruwaorganic.com and sign up for the free online community where we help each other, inspire each other, and all that good stuff. Until next time, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.